Who is the person that was captured on the video recording shooting Charles McCormick?
What's up?
Show your face! Show your face, please! With sugar on top!
Alright, y'all. Now, today we want to talk about Ksoo, his case, him being found guilty and serving basically life in prison, and his father being the guy that cooperated on him, or at least one of the guys, and everybody paying attention to the father, right? And I don't understand it because, first of all, the post that we put on Instagram, it was basically for all the YNs, quote unquote, or the young people that glorify that lifestyle to basically wake up, right? To let them know that at this point right here, right? When you see a lawyer drop his head, and then when you proceed to drop your head, at the end of the day, that's it, right? That's it. There's no more coming back. There's no designer clothes, no money, no friends, no girls, no nothing. And that was the whole point of that post. But it seems to me like people were just highlighting the fact that, yes, his father told him. Now, you have someone that says here, it says, quote, they asked his dad how he could tell on his son, and this man literally said, I mean self-love, right? You supposed to love yourself first, right? Somebody else said, quote, I can't believe his own father snitched on him. That's cold-blooded. A friend is expected because a friend is a friend until they're not, right? Now, here's the thing. Yes, his father did horrible. His father did bad. Do I agree with what he did? No. Because at the end of the day, I feel that's your child. You know, go to the end. And at the end of the day, come to find out his father was only telling to protect himself on a separate case that he caught. Now, his father was trying to say, yes, well, they dragged me into it. Bullcrap. At the end of the day, that's your son, whether you knowingly did something or not. You don't tell. You let the police do their job. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, before you even get to the point to where your father is able to tell on you, for the young guys out there, stay out the streets. Before you get to the point to where the lawyer or the judge or the jury basically have your freedom in their hands, stay out the streets. And here's what a lot of people are missing as well. It wasn't just the father, right? The father was like the icing on the cake. But the person, to me personally, that really put the nail in the coffin was Butta. Butta basically identified everything step by step when it came to Lil Buck. He confirmed everything. But it wasn't just Butta as well. This is another thing that I hate people are not paying attention to. And it comes a part of accountability. They had DNA from this man. They had the weapon that was allegedly used. He was in videos seen with it on. The hoodie that he had on during the shooting, he was seen with it on in another video on social media. You see what I'm saying? Then to make matters worse, they said this man FaceTime one of his ops to let him know that they caught one of his affiliates slacking. So at some point we gotta say, okay, right? Yeah, the father snitched, and they basically finessed the father too at the end, and we're gonna get into that too. But the father snitched. But at what point is people gonna say, wait, hold up, Ksoo kinda played a role in this as well, right? And I always explain the overly self-incrimination on social media, and that's what this is. Aside from the same weapon, aside from the clothes, the DNA, the social media posts, right? At the end of the day, he played a hand in his own demise. And once you make it bad, you gotta lay in it. So we're gonna get into a couple videos that was put out there, and I just wanna critique it a little bit. But first, we're gonna start off with this, because like I said, I feel this video is important for all the YNs out there to see, to let you know that at the end of the day, when reality finally hit, this is the end result. Simple as that. Now y'all hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. See? Everything right now is going through his head. Damn, it's over. Over. Look at the lawyer. Nothing to say. And the crazy part about this is, he know he wanna cry. He know he wanna cry. But he trying to keep it strong. It's a bad feeling, man. And not to mention, we gonna get into the lawyer as well, right? Now the lawyer, this guy right here, to me, it was like a straight mockery. Y'all seen the part where he got in the courtroom talking about, oh, this is not my client, because respectfully, he has no butt, and Ksoo does. Straight mockery. Y'all check this out.
His boss, a normal-sized human being. He's huge, but even in this, you can tell. He's got a belly. He is out of shape. He is not toned. And Your Honor, I hope that I can quote what I did the other day when I said the shooter ain't got no ass. He does.
So, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, you think you went to trial with a lawyer like this? Like, come on. Like, at the end of the day, do you really think you finna go the distance with somebody like this? Like, what? Like, it must be a joke to them. To even think, because at first, you know, everybody thought it was funny, including me. But when you really get down to the gist of things, and you think to yourself that this man really had the audacity to say something like this in court, he didn't take that trial serious. He could have. But then again, I can't lie, the prosecutors was eating them up. Now, let's get into the video of his father, right? His father basically telling on him and telling basically what happened, the role he played. And then we're going to get into why he said he did what he did. Y'all check this out.
Who is the person that was captured on the video recording shooting Charles McCormick?
My son.
What's your son's name?
Hakeem.
After the murder of Charles McCormick, did you become aware of a post on Hakeem Robinson's Instagram account referencing something that happened?
Yes.
And was that posted from a nail salon?
Yes.
And after seeing that post, did you reach out to Hakeem Robinson, your son?
Yes.
And what did you want him to do?
I want him to remove the post.
Now, it's certain things like that where he screwed himself up. And we're going to get into another video that basically just shows them eating him up, and he don't even realize it. He's obviously not that smart. Now, when they say, were you aware of the post, right? He said yes. Did you contact him about the post? He said yes. He said, did you want him to take the post down? He said yes. Now, if you had no knowledge of what these guys did, why are you so involved? How do you even know to tell him to take the post down in the first place? Why do you want him to, why didn't you report him then? Right? If you were so against it and you didn't know, why were you so involved? And he played right into their hand.
Are you aware of any other posts Hakeem Robinson made to his social media around that time that concerns you?
Yes.
What was that?
It was another post of dude Lil Buck.
What did you see?
It was just the emojis on the bottom of it that said bye bye bye.
Say it again.
It was the emojis, the hand emojis saying bye bye.
Now, if y'all pay attention, all he doing is letting them know that he had knowledge of this. Letting them know that he had knowledge of their differences. So there's no way you can act like you wasn't involved or you had no knowledge if you know all this. And you just snitching on not only them, but yourself. Alright, so let's get into the next video where he basically explains why he's doing what he's doing. Y'all check this out.
Now, sitting here today, you realize that you are testifying against not only co-defendants, but family members.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
I have a number of reasons.
What are they?
I got some health issues. I got 2 6-year-olds and an 8-year-old daughter. And, you know, when my 8-year-old daughter asked me when I'm gonna come take her to the daddy-daughter dance.
Objection, hearsay relevance.
Overruled.
You can answer.
When she asked me over each year when I'm gonna come take her there, and I keep letting her down. Then my 6-year-old son, when he asked me if I'm gonna come to his football games.
What about the son right in front of you? Right? What about the son right in front of you? Because you don't have to be there doing this. And he's trying to get sympathy, but nobody's buying it.
Come take him fishing. My other 6-year-old, he asked me, when I'm gonna come see him, when he begging me, please come see me, daddy. He wanna teach me how to play the game, but he don't know where I'm at. You know, things like that. My health issues.
What health issues do you have?
I have diabetic. I'm diabetic. I'm on high blood pressure. I suffer from congestive heart failure. I just found out June 25th that my kidneys is failing rapidly.
So knowing this and hearing that his kidneys are quote unquote failing rapidly, maybe one may believe that he feel he has nothing to lose. Right? Maybe he's just trying to do anything to get out because he feel that time is ticking. And he can't do 20, 30, 40 years in prison because he just might pass away in there. And not just might, because he's up there in age. So 20, 30 year sentence, it's over. Right? And with the health condition he has, it's even worse. But at the end of the day, he has nobody to blame for any of this besides himself. So the sympathy and the pity goes out the window. Now y'all check out this other video of him basically explaining that he was blind and he helped blindly and he didn't know what he was signing up for when he came and picked these guys up after they committed the M. Check this out.
They didn't call Leroy Whitaker daddy to go get it. They called me. They did. What if they would have called somebody? I would like to see how they would feel if they would have called somebody else to go pick somebody up.
You know why? They didn't pick anybody else to pick them up because they knew that you would be down with it. Right? They didn't think anybody else's parents would do it, not in their right mind. They knew you would though, which is why they called you. I'm not just gonna call Joe Schmo to go rob a bank, right? I'm gonna go call somebody that I know is gonna be down with it. So when it comes to a situation like this, I'm gonna call who I know would be down to pick us up knowing what's going on. What you think they called you for? Right? When you see the guys running into the car, burning clothes, what did you think they were doing? Having a picnic? Come on.
They called me. If I would have knew something was going on, I wouldn't have never went. All right. Think I'm gonna go over there in my car with my phone and knowing something going on, I would like to been, if I would like to been involved in a crime, I'd like to know that I'm involved in a crime. Let me know that, okay, it's a crime happening now. Let me know something. I was in the blind.
Here's where they're gonna pick them apart. Watch
You're a
this.
victim in this case, right?
I ain't gonna say I'm a victim, but I would like to know that I'm being involved in something and just ask for a ride.
Watch this.
All right, so then after you know about it, you're then cool with going to burn clothes, right?
Yeah, after I get to know about it, I was cool with that.
Yeah.
See? You see what he just did? He was supposed to say no. Because everything you just said is now a contradiction to what you just agreed to. You just said, I would like to know. They called me. I was blind. But then you turn around and say, well, if I knew, I would have still been with it. So everything you just said before that doesn't matter. Right? Everything you just said prior to that doesn't matter because you just admitted that if you did know, you would still do exactly what you did. So why does any of it matter now? Silly goose.
So it's a little bit of a felony, you know, destruction of evidence.
Yeah, I did it. I like Scotty. I did.
Definitely know you didn't call 911.
Right.
That conscience only grew later when you were looking at life.
Yeah.
I see why they use him so easily. He's not the smartest guy. Like, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. They just said, yeah, when you was looking at life, then your conscience came to you. He said, yeah. Which means that you're only quote unquote telling out of a desperate manner because you don't want life. So you're liable to say anything just so you don't do life. And you know what he said? Yeah. Look at his face. He thought what he was doing was smart. Silly man. Now this is where they totally break him down in the next video. Y'all check this out.
Remember that, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's 478-305-9583, right?
Right.
Now that phone's under your dead friend's name, Daryl Watts, right?
Right.
You paid for that phone, right?
Correct.
And in December, you paid something like $1,000 that you owed on that phone and others.
Right.
You know he messed up.
So whoever it is that had that phone, the shooter, you supplied it to him.
Oh, I didn't know the shooter had the phone. I didn't know.
Got him. Look at his face.
So, Daryl Watts was your best friend, right?
Yeah.
He was murdered.
Yeah.
To this day, you are not cleared as a suspect in that case.
Sustained. Mr. DeCoste, just ask questions, please, that are relevant.
An arrest has not been made in the murder of Daryl Watts.
Sustained.
So basically, they played him. Right? What happens is all this came after they got him to testify, after they got him to say what they needed him to say. You know what they did to him? They flipped on him. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty game. But like I always say, stay out them people's courtroom so you don't have to deal with this. Right? Now, they got him to testify. They got him to say everything they needed him to say. And right after that, they basically started asking him questions, which made him look guilty and look like he's involved in it. So I think the whole time they had this plan to where he thought he was getting out, but they finessed him and used him for everything they needed. And then once they got it on record, they flipped it on him. Look at his face. He knows it's over. But aside from that, that was just the icing on the cake. Let's get into Butta. Butta is the guy who basically identified the whole shooting with Lil Buck. He explained how it happened. He explained that the guy could have got hit sooner, but he was on vacation. They waited for him. They trailed him. He made the FaceTime call. After making the FaceTime call, they basically ambushed him when he came out of the mall. So let's get into all that.
And when you say ambush, what does that mean?
Like, what we call it rundown.
What does run down mean?
It's ambush.
Okay. They Charles McCormick walked out of his apartment while y'all were sitting right there.
No, sir.
When he walked out, if the plan was to run him down, what would that have involved? What would have happened?
I'll allow him to answer if he knows, otherwise it would be sustained.
Do you know what the plan was for when Charles McCormick walked out?
Yeah.
Right. What was supposed to happen?
Well, when he got into the vehicle, they was going to jump out the car, and as soon as he got in his car, they was going to run him down and shoot him.
Who was?
Scotty and Ksoo.
So both Leroy Wood understanding that you can only be sentenced on one of those offenses.
Yes, sir.
And do you have a co-defendant in that burglary charge?
Yes, sir.
Right. And what's the name of your co-defendant in the burglary charge?
Leroy Whitaker.
Do you see Leroy Whitaker in the courtroom here today?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell us where he is seated and what he is wearing?
He got on blue and white.
All right. Can you describe the table or who he is sitting next to as well?
Sitting next to his lawyer.
Which table?
Front table, first table.
Your Honor, with the record reflect, he's identified Mr. Whitaker.
Alright, so there you have it. Like I said before, Ksoo's father was the icing on the cake. However, there was a lot going on within that case. If anybody thought he was beating that, I don't know what to tell him. It was too much against him. The witnesses were too strong. The informants, Butta, who else? Ksoo's father. They had FaceTime records, matching weapons, surveillance, clothes matching. Right? It was just literally too much, man. And yeah. So like I said, the whole point of all this in the beginning, initially with the post, was just to let the YNs know, please, if you out there doing whatever you're doing, just know that ultimately this is the end result. Now, if that's something you want or you don't care about, then it is what it is, right? But for the ones that do and you want to turn things around, do so before it's too late. Or you looking like Ksoo in that courtroom. Y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.